Initially, I heard there was no blood left at the murder scene of Libby and Abby. Then there was blood, then there wasn't blood, then there was no DNA, but there was blood, which is DNA. So, according to Major Cicero, the state's blood specialist and forensic expert, it sounds like there was a lot of blood at the scene to me. He said there was a puddle on the ground nearer the tree with the rune and blood on it. And he said the rune was not a rune, but that it was from cast off or transfer. Major Cicero said the F was missing the second bar of the rune, and the leg of the F that connects the two bars was missing. He believes that what looks like the leg of the F was caused by gravity from the transfer of blood to the tree. That transfer of blood on the tree formed that F pretty well, and only one side of the top bar must have increased gravity or something to have pulled that leg down in such a straight line and so far. And there's no runoff from the rest of the top bar. I would think that the bark of the tree would have created a more jagged look. And then a handprint from leaning on the tree, I really don't see that at all. He said that Libby was mobile when she was cut, and eventually she sat down. Abby was positioned directly across from her and was probably murdered while lying down. He said that Libby's body was dragged by one arm 6 to 7 feet. Now, I'm trying to be open-minded here, but I don't want to be so open-minded that my brain falls out. But much of what Major Cicero said sounds pretty far-fetched to me. First off, the F rune on the tree clearly has the leg of the F there, and it's connecting the two bars that are clearly visible to me. The second bar may be a little bit more faded than the first bar. And Libby being dragged 6 to 7 feet, why? Why drag her at all? If not trying to position her, then why drag her? 6 to 7 feet isn't that far to drag somebody. Could have just left her where she laid. I mean, with all the other energy that's been expended by walking from the car to the scene, then walking around waiting for the appropriate more victims to come along at the appropriate time, during a time when there was quite a few people at the park area. And it sounds like there was many people crossing the bridge, according to the prosecution, during this time, then stalking them, taking them down that treacherous hill, across the river, then to the area where they were murdered. And all the rest of the hellish chaos happened right there. So he must have hoped that they would cooperate and be very quietly murdered when it's their turn. I don't know, most of what Major Cicero said just sounds like fantasy to me. So far, all that I've heard from the prosecution makes me believe more in the defense's theory. Then at the status hearing on August 23rd, the public wasn't allowed to enter. There's reportedly no transcript of the hearing, and everyone involved is under a gag order. Sounds honest? Not to me. Why all the secrecy and the lies and the mistakes, quote unquote? The state has a sure thing, right? That's what they say. So why not be open and upfront about everything? Seems to me they're even trying to silence the defense. They want the defense lawyers to not be able to bring up virtually anything in defense of their client. So many questions with no apparent answers that I've heard. And the pure fantasy that those large limbs and twigs were placed simply to try to hide the bodies, I just can't even get with that at all. And little, overweight, out of shape Richard Allen did all that alone, and nobody saw or heard anything. Okay. And when they seemingly changed their mind about something, they misspoke, evidence disappears, and it sounds like a horrific but straightforward murder. No tentacles needed. And as always, I love to hear what you think. I want to thank you all for coming by and listening to my video. And I hope you have a good day, evening, night.